Okay, so for our session today, we are going to be looking at the concept of multimedia for e-learning. I know it's not anything strange to us because we've been developing multimedia resources for our content when we're teaching. And this time round, as we're developing our content, we want to focus on developing quality resources for the students. And one of the ways we can improve on the quality of the resources we are developing is by embedding multimedia resources into our course. But before we get started, maybe it's a good point to do a recap of what we did last time in terms of looking at the pedagogy aspects. I hope you were all able to listen to the pedagogy presentation by the team from School of Education. I uploaded the recording on our School of Computing space. I also shared the recording from the previous training. I hope you were all able to go through it. For the sake of those who are not able to go through it, I'm just going to share our space, our Dean School of Computing virtual office space. And just to show you where the recordings are here, including the recording of today. We're going to put it there. So the pedagogy training recording is there, and the day one training where we looked at logging into the LMS, navigating the LMS. We looked at how to edit the course, because by now all of you have the courses you're developing on your dashboard. We were able to go through how to edit the course, to put up the learning outcomes, the activities, the assessments. We looked at how to upload learning resources, the notes that you're going to be attaching to the students and any other resource. And then we looked at how to carry out advanced search using Google so that we are sure of the sharing rights of the materials that you're going to be using, the copyrights that govern the resources that we're going to be reusing within our courses. So that's just a recap of what we did last week. For this week, we want to look at multimedia, the use of multimedia for e-learning. Now, for the sake of the content development of this time, as I've indicated, we are now looking at embedding multimedia into the course resources that we are developing. More so because it improves on quality. As you know, there are different types of learners. We are learners who are visual learners, and this forms a good number of learners. A majority of the learners that we teach are visual, especially with the 21st century learners. They learn best by seeing, right? When they see something, when they see you demonstrating something, when they see you doing something, that's how they're able to learn best. We also have another type of learner who are called kinesthetic learners. These are learners who learn best by doing, right? So you demonstrate something and then you give them a learning activity to be able to do, okay? To be able to actualize what you're saying. So if you're teaching them how to write code, you need to give them a practical task. Go ahead and write code. If you're teaching them how to design something, you need to go ahead and give them an activity. And that is why in the pedagogy training, what we are calling constructive alignment, which is the guiding approach we are using this time as we're developing the e-learning content, constructive alignment. We're looking at how we can link the learning outcomes, the learning activities, and the assessment. So there must be some activity to cater for the kinesthetic aspects of learners, practically doing something for you to be able to satisfy the learning outcomes. So as you're demonstrating something, as you're demonstrating how a concept is carried out, you need also to give the students an opportunity to do it, to work out something. So we're not just going to be giving them notes and disappear. No. We have to facilitate the learning process, okay? By sharing demonstration videos, then proceeding to give the students an opportunity to practice what we have demonstrated. So in this particular session, we are going to look at the various types of multimedia resources we can develop for our courses to be able to demonstrate. Because assuming that come September or come January, we are told that our classes can only be a given number. So, and you're teaching practical. So how are you able to pre-expose the students to the practical task so that even as you're staggering them in the lab, they're coming to do the practical, they already have had the opportunity to have seen the demonstration of how the practical is done. So for this, we're going to be developing a multimedia resources of different types. So the first one we're going to be doing is what we call screencasting. And this is of interest to School of Computing a lot because we usually show a lot of steps on how students are supposed to run software, install, configure, right? So one of the best and most appropriate type of multimedia for us is what we call screencasting. And I'm going to just play a YouTube video that shows the screencasting. Then we'll go through the steps of how to create a screencast. So let me just load a YouTube video.
So get this,
So let me just share the screen shortly. So on your screen, should be loading a YouTube video. So this is an example of a screencasting. So a screencast is a type of multimedia you develop for teaching, where you are explaining while the system is recording your screen, your computer screen. So as you can see on this illustration, this is somebody who has developed a screencast tutorial for teaching how to use the Screencast-O-Matic software, right? So what you're able to see is this, you're able to see the movement on screen. You're able to see as he's searching on Google and as he's moving around the screen. So this is the kind of application, this is the kind of multimedia we call screencasting. So while the student is looking at or seeing you demonstrate how the software will be installed, you search, install, and all that, the student is also able to hear your voice as you are recording. I know there are many applications that you can use to develop such, but we are recommending an application called OBS, the Open Broadcaster Software. So this is a kind of software that allows you to be able to create screencasting. So in the next step, I want to show us how we can use this software called OBS to actually create a screencast. Okay, so let me just share the screen for the OBS software. So to start us off, you may need to install the OBS. It's an open source software. So there, we are moving open source. Okay. So you go to download the OBS software, go to the OBS Broadcaster software website. It's all obsproject.com. The beauty about this particular software, you can also do streaming with it. So it has multiple functions. So if you want to stream, like for example, you may be having a Facebook page and you want to stream while you're demonstrating how maybe something is worked out, you can be able to stream using OBS. You can be able to record yourself as you're doing your screencast. So that's the beauty about OBS. So at your free time, just go to obsproject.com and then download the OBS Studio. Okay. So once you download the OBS Studio, I want to show us how we can set it up for screencasting. So I'm going to launch the OBS Studio on my computer, then share it on screen. I'm also going to load Photoshop. I'm assuming I'm having a lesson where I'm teaching graphics. So I'll be taking the students through how to create some graphical design using the OBS, creating a screencast using OBS on how to use Photoshop. So the first thing, once you have downloaded and installed the OBS Studio, you need to launch the OBS. So I'm going to launch it on my screen so that you can see how it looks like. So this is how OBS looks like, right? And so this is where you start when you want to to begin your screencast. So how OBS works is step number 1, you need to define the input, sources of input. As you can see here, at the bottom of the screen, there's a place written scene, then there's a place written sources. So you need to tell OBS, what are the sources of your recording? So the first thing, when you want to record a screencast, you need to tell it that you need to capture a window, right? You need to capture this window, specific window that is opened on your computer. In this case, I have opened up Photoshop, right? So you need to launch the application that you are going to be demonstrating to the students, then launch the OBS. Then under sources, there is a plus sign or an add sign here. Click on it and then select the option window capture. So here we want to define to OBS the window that we will be recording. In this case, it's Photoshop. So I've selected under window, it will give you the options of the windows that are opened on your computer. So I'm going to select the option Photoshop, then click OK. As you can see on screen, the OBS has already picked the screen, which is Photoshop, right? The next thing I need to instruct OBS is to capture my audio, because it needs to capture your audio as you're explaining the concepts on the Photoshop window. So what you do is you come to the OBS, still under sources, then you pick on, let me just do this. You click on the add sign, then you click audio input capture. Okay. So in this way, it will be capturing audio that is coming in from your microphone. And to even check that it is capturing your audio, you realize the audio mixer will be showing you as you speak, it will be showing the input of the audio it is actually capturing. So when you want to do a screencast, just to re-emphasize what I've said, you need to indicate to the OBS. So after you've launched the OBS and you've opened the application that you want to demonstrate the screencast, to carry out the screencast. In my case, I want to teach the students how to use Photoshop. So you can see I have loaded Photoshop on my window. So you go to window capture and you select the specific window. In this case, I've selected the Photoshop. Then you need to specify that it needs to capture your audio. So if under sources, I have indicated to OBS audio input capture, so that it captures my audio from the computer microphone. Now that I have done this, I can start recording. On the right side of on the left side of the screen, on the right side, there's a space written controls. So I might be streaming, you may want to stream my lesson on my Facebook page. So you can use the start streaming option, which you just put in the stream key from your page, and you'll be able to stream live your lesson. Then there's an option written start recording. So this is where you use this particular option when you want OBS to record and save your recording on your computer. For the sake of this session, because we are interested in recording and not streaming, I will click start recording option. Once you click on start recording, realize what happens. The OBS, the record button turns light gray, which is an indication that recording is going on. So once you've set up OBS, you can minimize it because it will now be recording on the background. Then you can go back to your application. So in this case, I'll go back to my Photoshop. So I'll go back to Photoshop. So I'm loading my Photoshop. Okay, so I've minimized the OBS. So I've set it up for recording. So it will be recording in the background as I carry out the practical session for the students. So maybe I'm teaching the students how to create a new Photoshop project. So everything that I'll be doing, the OBS will be recording. So I'm actually just showing students how to do some practical steps on the Photoshop, right? So everything I'm doing as I am explaining, the OBS will be recording from the background, okay? So let me just go to here. So here I'm just adding items, I'm adding text. So everything as I'll be doing on my screen, the students will be seeing it from the recording of OBS. So once you're done showing your demonstration, go back to the OBS screen. So I'll share the OBS screen again. So I'm assuming I was just showing the students how to carry out some graphic work on the Photoshop. So as soon as I'm done, I go back to the OBS. So let me load the OBS again. Remember, I had minimized it, so I'll just maximize it again. And then I'll share it so that we can all see the process. Okay, so you can see the OBS was recording everything I was doing on that particular screen. Now I need to stop the recording, so I'll stop the recording. Once I've stopped the recording, OBS automatically saves my recording on my computer. So how do I access my recording? I go to File, then click Show Recordings. By default, it usually saves under the video, under video. So let me play the recording so that we can see the recording that has been created by OBS. So if you want to view your recording, just go to File, then click Show Recordings. So it will show you, it will take you to where the recordings have been saved. So in this case, let me go to the recording window where my recording has been saved. So you see, this is my recording. Actually, it saves the recording by the date and time. So the date is 28th July 2020 at 7:31. So I can rename it. So mine was the Photoshop lesson. So I'll rename it Photoshop lesson. And let me play the video so that we are all able to hear it and see it. Let me share the video as it's playing. It will now be recording on the background. Then you can go back to your application. So in this case, I'll go back to my Photoshop. So I'll go back to Photoshop. So I'm actually just showing students how to do some practical steps on the Photoshop. Here I'm just adding items. I'm adding of OBS. So what is it again? So it is as simple as that. So what I've done is I've created a video called a screencast. A screencast. So I know most of you are teaching practicals, titles. You're showing some students how to maybe do some network stuff online using some software. James Okeda, you're teaching multimedia. So we are all teaching programming, web design, all these things that we usually teach that have practical concepts that we are using certain softwares to actually demonstrate. So you can actually use OBS to create your screencast. Now I'm going to show you another type of video that you can create with OBS, and this is what we call pen casting. So pen casting is when you have maybe some mathematical concepts to show. You want to show the students how to work out certain mathematical concepts. So people who are teaching concepts lessons that have working out. So using the OBS, you can actually be able to do pen casting. So how do you go about this? The best application to use, sometimes you can use Paint, you can use OneNote, because they all have the ability of the penning. You can use Microsoft Edge, because Microsoft Edge has the ability to be able to pen. It has that ability to be able to write on screen. So for this case, I'm going to demonstrate using Paint. Let me just load Paint. So on your OBS, So on your OBS, let me just launch the OBS again on the window share. Okay, so there. So on the OBS now, I had already shared, I'd already put as part of the sources window capture. So I'll just change the window which I want OBS to capture. So initially it was capturing the Photoshop. Now I want it to capture the Paint, right? So I've just changed the window source to Paint. Okay, and of course it's already capturing my audio. So while on Paint, I can be explaining to the students how to work out. For example, if I'm teaching, which mathematics do I remember in computing? Someone will need to help me. So I'm teaching A plus B is equals to B plus A, right? I'm teaching logics, right? And I want to show actually recording this and writing on screen. The students are able to see what I'm writing and they're able to listen to my audio. So this is a type of recording called pen casting. So in pen casting, I'm actually showing, like, for example, if I'm showing how the flow chart of a concept is, so I can be able to be explaining and as I draw the flow chart, and the students are able to see it on screen, right? So once I'm done, actually, I didn't start recording. Let me just start again. I'll start recording. I missed out that step. So before you start your working on your screen, you need to ensure that you've put audio capture, window capture, and you have started the recording. So I had not started. So now I can start teaching again. So let me just put a new one. Okay. So as I'm explaining, right? As I'm explaining and writing on screen, the students are able to hear my voice and see my explanation. Seeing that? So this is a type of recording we call pen casting. Pen casting is very good when you have some mathematical concepts to share, to teach the students, right? So you can be able to have the question, then you work out as the students are listening to you. So once you're done, click stop recording. I've stopped recording. Now let me see my recording. You go to the OBS, click File, then Show Recording. There, my recording is there. So let me show you the recording. Automatically, as soon as you stop the recording, OBS will save the recording for you. So you don't need to go to File, Save. No, it just does the automatic saving for you. As soon as you click on Stop Recording, it will stop recording. So I'll share my pencast. So this type of video that you've created is called a pencast. So there, my video has been created. By default, as we said, OBS will save the recording by date and time. So this one was recorded at 7:39 a.m. I can rename it. So it is, I'll rename it to pencast example. So you see, using simple tools that you already have on your computer, like Paint, right? You see, you can be able to convert it into a tool which you can use to develop a pencast, right? So OBS allows you to be able to do screencasting and pencasting. You can also be able to do voice over PowerPoint. For those lectures, you have a nice PowerPoint presentation that you usually go to class with, and you want to convert it into a multimedia resource. So all you'll need to do is come to window capture, then open the PowerPoint, then select the PowerPoint. Okay. Once you've selected the PowerPoint in the window capture, and you've ensured that you have selected the audio input, you start recording. And as you're speaking through your PowerPoint, right? As you're speaking through your PowerPoint, OBS will be recording, and then you can be able to do that. Now, the format of recording for OBS is usually the MKV, the file format. If you look at properties, the file format is MKV. So sometimes you may want to convert your file into MP4 because, yeah, it is the easier format to actually share out. So how do you convert your recording to MP4. So let me go back to my OBS screen. Okay, so I'm back to the OBS screen. I should be loading shortly. So once you're done with your recordings and you want to convert them to MP4, it is very simple. You go to File, then click the option Remax Recordings. Okay, so you select the file as I'm doing right now. So I want to convert my Photoshop lesson into MP4 because by default it comes with the MKV version file format extension. So you want to convert it to MP4 so that it's easier to even take it to other applications that are like Camtasia. You can actually load the MP4 to Camtasia and be able to edit it further if you want to edit your recording further. So for most of the recording application, video editing applications, they usually recognize MP4. So you can pick your recordings. Let me pick both of them, right? So I'm converting them from the OBS recording, which is MKV, to an MP4. Then I click Remax Record, Remax. So what it will do, it will just create for me MP4 versions of my recordings, which I can now go and edit further in other editing, video editing applications that I may have. So where does OBS store the recordings? By default, it will always store them here. So let me load the screen so that you can see the MP4 version of the recording. So as you can see, I have for the Photoshop lesson, I have now two files. One is the MKV and the other one is the MP4, which I can now proceed to edit further. So this is the MP4 version of this file. So this is the MKV and this is the MP4 version. So OBS usually by default records as MKV files, but it can also allow you to convert your files to MP4. Yes. So that is it about creating pencast and screencast, which I think are the key kind of videos that you will be creating a lot as School of Computing. At this point, maybe we can take some questions from
low battery.
Some questions. Okay, so we can take some questions, some reactions from the team. Na leo chat imenyamaza. I was hoping to get questions coming in. Yeah, any questions from the team? Hello? Yes, Dr. Okora?
Yeah, can I do this with a touch screen?
Yes, you can. Actually, I was writing on my machine is a touch screen. So when I was writing the pencast, I was just writing on screen because my machine is
great.
It's actually
That's
the best. But in case your machine is not a touch screen, what do you do? There's a tablet that is being sold on Jumia. Let me just share the photo for us to look
Great.
at which you can attach and use that.
I was going to ask about that, if there is another device I could use to input.
Yeah, there is. Let me just share the file, the image. It's on Jumia.
Okay, so.
So let me just share it on screen so that you can all see it. So we can go to Jumia and you'll be able to. Yeah, so in case your laptop is not a touch screen, you can buy this tablet from Jumia. It's called a generic A5010 by 60-inch 5080 LPI Smart Touch electronic graphic tablet. So it's a plug and play. You just attach it to your computer and you'll be able to do the pencast in case your machine is not and it's affordable. It's 5,499. It's affordable.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more questions? Yes, Dean.
No, not at the moment, but if anybody has a query, can ask. A simple one, eh?
Yes, sir.
Now, apart from the video demonstration, do you also have maybe manual?
Manual on how to use this software?
Yeah, now on the whole training, you have some guidance.
I'm recording the session. I'm going to share the recording.
Okay.
After this.
So the version is the recordings.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
Yes, Dr. Koy?
Yeah. Suppose I want to embed this into a PDF document. Would you be able to show us how we could embed this into a PDF document?
I didn't quite get embed the recording into a PDF or
PDF document, yes.
To convert your recording.
Some slides with animation, pictures, and so on.
Okay, I didn't quite get the question right. You're saying how we can be able to put animations on the OBS?
Well, I think I'm asking two questions. One, I would like to see animations. I would like to do animations. So how do I do that? Two, how do I embed the same into a PDF file?
Okay, maybe I may need help to answer that question from the team.
Okay.
For animations, you know, and PowerPoint is very powerful. You can be able to create animations on PowerPoint. My colleague Peter is an expert with that. So he knows how to create animations on and using even a simple tool as PowerPoint. But you can also create high-end animations using applications, just 3D Max and Maya and all that. But in terms of creating animations, simple animations, even using PowerPoint, please get in touch with Peter Kiprotich. He's really good with that. He's really good with developing simple multimedia animations and all that.
Okay.
But in terms of converting your recording into PDF, I am not sure. Maybe the team can be able to help us with answers. Now that I know we are all experts in computing, we can be able to brainstorm on that.
Yes, Barbara.
Yes, George.
Yeah, I think maybe I can chip in there. Now that we've seen how OBS works, I think if you screencast whatever you are doing, even if you are to convert your file into a PDF or it's an animation, it will still capture it. OBS is very powerful. Whatever you do, even outside, just normally the way you do your stuff, you can actually capture the same and share it with your students as a recording. Do you get me?
Yes, we got you.
Yeah, but also I've got a question.
Yes.
Mine is in regard to quality. Now, if all of us will be coming up with our recordings, and then we are going to mount them on the university platform, how sure are we going to be about the quality and also about the standard? You know, we have to have, we understand that if you are going to get a consistent interface, you must have a template and things like that. So I think across the board, all staff will have to follow a certain template using certain standards so that the quality is consistent throughout, because people have different gadgets. Some will be of very poor resolutions and so on and so forth. So is there going to be a studio where one can record some quality work to be presented, or everybody's going to be left to their own device?
Yeah, that is a very good question in terms of quality. And I think at this point, I'll ask Muhambe, because as part of the technical committee that was looking into this, I think one of the recommendations that we needed spaces within Maseno where someone can record, acoustic rooms, where as a lecturer you just walk in and the room is conducive for you to be able to record, and all the necessary softwares are already installed, maybe in a machine in that particular space. So part of the recommendations that the team that was led by Dr. Muhambe recommended was that. But also on the other aspect of standards, we have shared templates for you, Word, document templates, PowerPoint. So if you're doing a voice over PowerPoint, consider using the PowerPoint template that has been shared to us. It's on the School of Computing virtual space. Yeah, and then in terms of editing, we're also trying to, we have a few team members. We are building the team of people at the eCampus. Director has been asked to be able to source for multimedia specialists. But after you've done your recording, you can bring us the raw recording and the person can be able to edit for you and then make it as part of your teaching resource. Right now we are doing simple editing, but we are hoping to advance our levels in terms of the kind of editing that we will be doing for the resources that we'll be sharing out to the students. So that's a very important observation. We need to consider standards. Standards are very important because they carry the reputation of the institution. And just as a tip, please don't go and record yourself for bedroom yako na umeka video capture. I'll show you. You can also be able to do video capture. I'll not do mine because I'm teaching from my bedroom. But you can be able to share even the video capture. So when you do video capture, it will actually capture your webcam, right? So as you're capturing your webcam, please make sure that the environment that you are recording from is conducive. Sikuwe na vitu za environment kama ni bedroom yako ama place where it is not conducive and you've shared your webcam. You know, students will be seeing everything behind you. And maybe your kids are playing there, you know. So what George is talking about, standards, is very important. Go to a conducive environment where there's minimal noise, right? Where it is acoustic, and we are hoping the university is going to provide such kind of facilities. And then you record yourself. The audio will be clean. The environment will be good enough. Even when someone edits the video for you, there will be a lot minimal work to do in terms of cleaning the video. So thank you so much.
I have a question to ask.
Yes, Dr.
Yeah, you're recommending the usage of Word, Microsoft Word documents, but I have a problem with that because Word is very poor at typesetting mathematical equations. We have better tools for creating mathematical stuff. How do we accommodate that? Because we could easily use something like LaTeX to produce mathematical materials or mathematical documents. But Word is rather poor at that. I would prefer to use LaTeX rather than Word.
Yes, okay. I was referring to the template in terms of notes and the power and the PDF attachments you're going to be making. So we've given you a Word template for that. But as you've rightly put it,
yes,
because LaTeX is a software, right? So when you'll be recording yourself as you're demonstrating how to use LaTeX, in the window capture, you're going to select the LaTeX window here. So you'll be able just to select the LaTeX. For LaTeX, we don't need to give you a template for it, right? So you just select the LaTeX window, and then you'll be able to demonstrate how the students are able to use LaTeX. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
you. So
you.
Under window capture, you can capture any window that is open on your computer, be it an Excel sheet, like you can see right now. I've just changed. So maybe I may be teaching Excel. I may be teaching Excel, so I can be able to change the window capture to Excel. If I'm teaching LaTeX, I'll just change the window capture to the LaTeX application. So the window capture will capture any screen that you want, be it a software, be it a document, be it a PDF, be it an animation that you're playing and you want the students to be able to see how the animation is created and all that. You can, for the window capture, you can capture any application that is running on your computer as it captures your audio as you're explaining what is on screen.
Thank you.
Barbara, may I ask a question?
Yes, please.
I realize each one of us, some may have up to 5 courses.
Yes.
And maybe a course has up to 10, 12 topics.
Mm-hmm.
If for each topic I do a multimedia, I realize there will be quite ample storage space. Is there any limit on storage space per person, or we are on unlimited cloud somewhere? That is there any guidance on how much multimedia each person may embed in your teaching?
Okay, with regard to the amount of multimedia, I thank you for the question, Mr. Lala. With regarding to the amount of multimedia, you will be guide. You are the expert, so you will guide. I don't think you will need multimedia for all topics. You might just pick a few topics that it's very critical for you to demonstrate a concept to the students, and the students will best learn it by seeing the demonstration of how it's done. So you may not need to do multimedia for each and every topic, not unless your course is very practical, that you may need to have quite a lot of multimedia developed for each of the topics. But it is not necessarily that you need to have multimedia for each. And in terms of storage, we are not uploading videos directly on the platform, on the LMS. So what we will do is we'll upload the videos on YouTube, but we'll make them unlisted because we are still not clear on the copyright issues. We are still to be guided. So we are going to upload the videos. We are doing a YouTube channel where we will be uploading our videos there, and then we will just be embedding them. We'll just be using the embed code to embed them on the course for the specific topic that the multimedia resource belongs to. So we are not uploading it on the LMS directly. We'll be embedding.
Barbara.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm sorry. In your answer to Mr. Lola's question, you seem to be undoing what you started with, because you say that most of the contemporary learners are kinetic and visual. And most of the concepts that we deal with in computer science or IT really require a lot of illustrations. So I think the issue of space needs to be looked into, especially with regard to what we do in computer science and in IT.
Yes. Yeah. So my answer was that not all topics, like for example, if you're doing the first topic, which is introduction, where you're introducing learners to the concepts, the definition of terms, the principles, maybe you may give them a simple notes to read. Then in the next topic is when you're now showing them how to install and to configure. That one may be important that you create a video resource for that. So it's at the discretion of the lecturer to know which topics really intensively require multimedia, for them to demonstrate the concept taught at that topic, and which topics are simple notes to read would suffice. So it is at your discretion as the expert to know at what point do I need a media, at what point notes will suffice.
Yeah, that's quite good, but I would not want to feel that I'm being limited, I'm being constrained when I want to provide quality stuff.
Yes, you're right.
Thank you.
Yes, Barbara. Hello.
Yes, Dr. Amakwe.
Yes, I think what Mr. Lala Daktari are saying are very, very important. You know, we cannot say if it is the very beginning, the first lesson or the first topic, then you may not need multimedia there. I think that one is left to the lecturer. And the more demonstrative the lesson is, the better. So that issue of storage, we must really look at it thoroughly so that we don't limit anybody. That now this maybe the first lesson is basic, you don't need practicals and so on and so forth. It's not really, should not really be a bottleneck. Remember, we are reaching a level where we are going to mostly work at home, particularly the very old people, and as such, the graphics will help more than any other.
Okay, thank you, Dr. I just want to repeat what I said. I want to repeat what I said regarding YouTube. I've seen a question by Lillian. So Lillian, what we will do is we are going to create a YouTube channel. We are already doing it. We are creating a YouTube channel for our videos. So all the videos you're going to create, you're going to put them on YouTube. But when you upload a video on YouTube, you can either make it public, private, or unlisted. So we are going to use the option of unlisted so that the resources are can only be viewed by the person whom the link is shared to. Okay, so because the links are going to be shared to our learning management system. So the videos are going to be embedded on our learning management system on your course space. So that as we wait for the copyright issues to be resolved by the institution, so we'll make the videos unlisted on our YouTube channel, but embedded onto your course. So the students will be able to access it as long as they log in through the e-learning portal.
Barbara?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, James?
Yes, just wanted to address two things. One is on what we call the storage. The storage and quality, which George raised. These ones, I think the tools we are using currently do what we call compression, automatic. So the issue of overload or storage is not one of the biggest problems. Those ones, the tools that we are using, like the LMS and everything, in our LMS, the OBS will be doing that. And also in terms of whatever we are producing for learning, those ones, regardless, unless you're in a very noisy place, but the systems we are having currently would be able to ensure that everything is automatically reduced in terms of noise and any other interferences apart from what we call the surrounding environment. So those ones may not be able to highly affect what we are delivering. However, the whole content from the introduction will require that we use what we call the multimedia, either it's audio or video. So that is where you see Dr. Koyo and Dr. Makoyo are racing in terms of how we are going to present this. So the course from introduction to the end may involve either voice or what we call audio or video. If there's a fear in that, I think that is where we need to work from. But essentially now we have moved to multimedia. There's nothing now we are going to say that if we are going to what we call electronic learning, we are going to avoid that. We can't avoid recording both audio and video. So it's a question of standardization. Thank you.
Thank you, James, for that very important input. Thank you. And we will be, I know you are an expert in this, so we'll be also relying on your guidance a lot. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay.
Good morning, Gabriel.
Morning, Eda. How are you?
I'm fine. My question is, how do you use Microsoft Edge to do pen casting?
How do you use Microsoft Edge to do pen casting? So let me just load it on screen so that you can all be able to see. Microsoft Edge. Microsoft Edge has the capabilities, and actually realize it's for those people whose children are doing on Google School, on you can Google Classroom. You can actually be able to submit your. Okay, so let me just load the Microsoft Edge. I've loaded it. I've actually just put it on my computer. For you using Google Classroom, you can actually just have your students do the assignment directly from Microsoft Edge, and then you upload. It's a nice trick. I learned. So when you're on Microsoft Edge, it's loading. It has these features for being able to pen, right? You can be able to it allows you to be able to write pen on screen. Right? So it has these particular features that allow you to be able to write on screen. Right? So you're able to do your pen casting even on Microsoft Edge. So what you do is you need to open maybe you can have a plain PDF document that is just plain. Like, let me just do that practically so that we can see. File. So I'm creating a Word document and then I'm going to convert it into PDF, just an empty plain Word document. So I'm saving it as PDF. So you open a Word document and then you save it as PDF. So I've created an empty Word document and then I've saved it as PDF. Then what I do is I just open it in Edge. As you've seen, I've opened the plain Word document in Edge. Now, if you look at Edge, there are features that are available for you here. You can add notes, right? So you can actually be able to, you click the add notes option, then you're able to write on screen. See that? And my laptop being a touch screen makes it even very easy. You just write using even your finger. So you can either use Paint or you can even use Edge to be able to do the pen casting. Does that answer your question, Eda?
Yes, my question is answered. Thank you.
Okay.
Barbara, just a mention on Edge.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, you can hear you.
I actually had a challenge. The first time I logged onto the LMS, I was on Edge as the browser. And it's like it's not compatible with our LMS or maybe the version I'm using. I had to change.
Yeah, maybe the version you're using, maybe need to look through the version because it works well with Edge because sometimes I use it on Edge. Although I realize that our LMS also is optimized for Firefox and Chrome. I don't know why Moodle did that, but
yeah,
with Edge,
I had to go back to Chrome. That's fine, thank you.
Yeah, but this extra feature for Edge, you can try it out. And even if you have a PDF document and you just want to annotate on that PDF document while you are recording, you can use Microsoft Edge because of these new features, these new capabilities that it has for being able to write on a PDF. Any more questions? It is 8:10, so we're about to wrap up. So I'll give the dean a chance to address us, and then we can be able to wrap up today's session. Thank you so much for your active participation. I have recorded the session and I will share it to us before the end of the day. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Barbara. This one marks the end of what we are assigned for training notes. Hello? Barbara, are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you, Daktari. So this is the last formal training we have, but it doesn't close the window for consultation. So we will be at the eCampus. You can always walk in and we can be able to consult as you continue with your course development.
Okay. So before I maybe say something, I'll ask our CODs. Ms. Alwala, you have anything to share?
Not much, Dean. What I've seen here, these are some of the tools we can embed in our teaching, even if it's not purely online. But we are grateful for this.
Okay. Any announcement, even to members of your department?
Well, I'm relooking at the courses as I sent the SMS yesterday to members of staff in computer science about a possible fourth year coming back in 31st August. I don't know if that has been overtaken, but we need to at least prepare the notes for them, slides, and send to them, because we'll only have 1 week of teaching before they start their exams. So it will be very tight.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Dr. Mhambe?
Dean, I think I'm okay.
Any announcement even to your own staff?
I think I had communicated that we are redoing the allocation so that we take care of the load in year 1 main campus, and maybe possibly extend that to Kisumu if the load requirements are not met by any of the staff. And maybe I'll try and echo what Mr. Lola is saying also to my team, that given the possibility that fourth years would be coming in on 31st of August, then we would need to prepare the notes, send them, because we are going to have just 1 week. And within that 1 week, we should have covered everything that needs to be covered, so that the students can sit for for their exams.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, members.
Maybe one thing I like to request or maybe clarified.
Yes.
This is concerns about the content development.
Yes.
Now that we are supposed to do the content development on the LMS, and number 2, that the courses for this semester shall be pegged on the first years. So what I am not very sure about is the earlier version of the units that were taken up. How do we deal with them in terms of content development?
What do you mean by how do we?
What will be the priority?
No, I think that one we said last time. Look, fourth years and in the actual sense are supposed to come back on the 30th of August. Then 31st they start learning for 1 week. So it is you to prepare what they're supposed to do for that 1 week, meaning what you didn't finish with them. So you can even start sending them assignments now, communicating them and whatever, just the way I think Mr. Lwala has put it, because time will not be there. Then the second and third week, they'll do the exams. By 18th of September, fourth years are supposed to be through and leave the campus. Then first years come on the 21st. So those are proposals. First years come on the 21st of September, and they'll study up to December. So they finish their year 1. So that's why you are being asked to ensure if you have been loaded first year work, the material is ready. And in fact, we expect, if possible, by 14th of August, we will have developed the content for the September-December semester. So that as you see the situation, Dr. Mhambe, you want to say?
What I think Sam is asking, previously we had taken ranges of courses from year 1, 2, 3, all the way to fourth year.
Yes.
But now we seem to be giving priority to year 1. So what he's asking is that, what about the other courses for second year, third year? And I think the issue here is we are giving priority to year 1 because this is the proposed cohort that is supposed to come.
Yes.
But we will still have to develop the others, because we envision a scenario where, the situation could go haywire. And we will have all our students online. So, Sam, I think the response is we will still have to develop, but at the moment, we are giving priority to year 1 so that we want to have all the courses for year one developed and mounted on the LMS.
Yeah,
Okay,
that is true. Everything you have been assigned will develop. You know, students are just going to come in bits because of the COVID-19 situation. We'll not be able to have all the students back at the same time. So that's why if first years are coming in September and the rest will be coming later, then why don't you give priority to the first years? Because first years will have to be taught from September. That's what we are trying to say. It does not mean that you will not develop the program, the other programs, the other courses. I mean, we'll have to develop all of them, but we are just advising that please give priority to the first years so that come September we are able to deliver our lessons depending on the situation. So where maybe face-to-face cannot be realistic fully, because look at the space will not be available for each and every person maybe, and therefore we may have it in parallel, both face-to-face and online. Are we together? So I think that is where the situation is. Two, learning in city campus will continue all the years. They are supposed to continue. So the situation may only be for the main campus where we may alternate, but city campus learning is supposed to continue throughout. Third, postgraduates also should continue throughout. And in fact, anybody who is teaching postgraduate, all exams for postgraduate should be done by end of August. So come September, they go to their next semester. I think that is the communication I wanted to put across. Otherwise, we're going to do a school board meeting also through this kind of scenario. So we'll have virtual meetings. So be prepared. If we call you for a meeting, you join the meeting virtually. Otherwise, I wish you all the best and thank you for linking up for the training.